Hi, this is James. In this video, I'll be sharing to you my experience in conducting a classroom assessment technique named Student Goals Ranking. In this strategy, students share their personal learning goals that they aim to achieve in the course, as well as its level of priority and difficulty. Through this, the teacher will be able to tailor fit the scaffolding effort based on what the student needs and aims. Students list 3 to 5 learning goals for the course, rank its relative importance as well as its level of difficulty. With this information, the teacher may be able to gauge the degree of fitness of the student's learning goals and the course outcomes. Then, an effort to achieve both goals may be integrated in the instructional strategies. The principle that drives this strategy is self-awareness as learners. It is argued that students learn better when they are attuned with what they want to learn and how they are able to learn it. This keen ability to be sensitive to one's learning process is referred to as metacognition. Since the 1980s, studies on metacognition consistently found that it facilitates achievement of learning outcomes and it increases motivation. My results for taking the Teaching Goals Inventory indicated that I give high importance to items related to cultivating a student's sense of responsibility and capacity to think for oneself. In the course that I am teaching, I want my students to take responsibility and ownership of their research work. In order for me to do that, I have to have information in terms of their personal learning goals and how these fit to the course outcomes. Through this, I will be informed as to what their priority is and how they perceive its level of difficulty. With this information, I'll be able to guide them in a more personalized manner. Based on my experience in conducting this strategy, each student presenting his or her learning goals and its relative importance and difficulty may take more time than expected. The personal approach of this strategy makes the students more eager to share. This is both an advantage and a disadvantage. It is advantage in a sense that students are more ready to share their goals and stories to the class, which will also help me as a teacher to know more about the areas of strength and difficulty the student is bringing in the course. However, in a class of more than 10 students, time is limited for each student. In this case, an individual session with each student to discuss their personal learning goals is needed. Overall, this strategy's main advantage is it prepares both the teacher and the students in terms of what to do throughout the course and what to focus on in terms of improving. I followed the 3 basic steps, which are to list 3 to 5 personal learning goals, rank these goals in terms of its relative importance in the student's life, and rank its difficulty in terms of achieving such a goal in the course. The strategy was conducted online through a 1-hour synchronous session, and with the limited time, only 3 out of the 14 students had the opportunity to share their outputs to the entire class. Other students were scheduled for individual presentations. After a student shared his or her output to the class, I immediately provided feedback. My feedback started with affirming their personal learning goals and followed it with some challenges that the student may encounter in achieving that goal. Finally, I ended my feedback in terms of ensuring that my role as a teacher is to help them be successful in the course by providing them guidance and a more in-depth consultation time for their research work. This 3-part approach reflects the feedback sandwich. For example, one student's personal learning goal was to improve her creative writing style. In this case, I affirmed her goal and cited the challenge on balancing both the academic writing and creative writing styles in terms of writing a research paper. Finally, I assured her that her personal learning goals are important in realizing our course outcomes. Hence, I will be scaffolding her towards achieving these goals. Through this assessment technique, I found that their personal learning goals were specific knowledge, skills, and attitudes that were aligned with doing their literature review and writing their research proposal. Hence, there's alignment between their personal learning goals and the course outcomes. On the other hand, the importance and level of difficulty they assigned to each learning goal differ. In this case, I have to make sure that I am able to personalize each individual session by targeting the student's individual needs and goals in order to achieve the course outcomes. For example, one student already reviewed a substantial number of studies, which made her ready to write her literature review section. She had difficulty with establishing a clear flow of this section. Thus, this is where I will focus on during our individual session. Moving forward, if I use student goals ranking in the future, I will have to allot enough time for students to individually share their outputs. This can save me time compared to scheduling another individual session. I can also give the instructions to my students ahead of time so that they will proceed with sharing their outputs during the synchronous session. In providing immediate feedback, I have to be more educative by providing more specific resources and suggestions to the students, such as citing the website wherein I got that information, or citing the authors of the study or the book I was able to mention.